California Golden Bears. The Bears, NCAA runner-ups last year. Clemson in their first year ever going to the NCAA regionals. It is a special afternoon in Northern California. Well, hello everybody and welcome to ACC Gymnastics along with Evan Hyder. My name is Tim Swartz, and for the Cal Bears, they had their best season ever last year, and they have some stellar gymnasts starting with 4 all-arounders.
The Bears are bolstered by 4 all-around competitors, like you said, all of whom we expect to see on every event tonight against Clemson. Here we take a look, starting with Maya Lazan, 13th in the national all-around rankings. Going to see her working just as she does here on floor exercise. There's also Maddie Williams. She is known for her prowess on uneven bars. We're going to see her hopefully replicate a stuck vault from last week as well. MJ Frazier, traditionally super strong in balance beam and floor exercise, sitting with Williams at 21st in the all-around. And rounding out this quartet is Ella Cesario at 41st. She has a new first pass on floor this season, hoping to deliver today for the Bears. And the story goes Lazan and on when it comes to Maya. She has new uneven bars construction this year. We saw her break into the 9-9 range in week 2. She's familiar with the sticks. Tim, on every other apparatus, I would say outside of ours, we should be on 10 watch.
Well, this is Team 52 for the Cal Bears. They think this might be their best team ever. On the other side for Clemson, they're just starting their program. It's their second year, but Amy Smith and company, they are so excited about year 2.
And they're getting excited and having to build around an outage from Rebecca Wells. She is their star all-arounder. Last season had all the accolades, all the acclaim. She is currently competing only on uneven bars, coming back from an early season ankle sprain. They're working to get her back, and Coach Smith said that she is so important to this program.
All right, Rebecca Wells, one of 6 transfers from Utah State that followed Amy Smith from Ogden all the way across the country to Clemson. It is a dual meet format, first ever ACC duel for the California Golden Bears. 6 routines, 5 will count.
Tim, we can expect the unexpected in terms of lineups. Both coaching staffs told us they take this 4-minute touch into account when building their finalized plans. So whatever is happening right now as a gymnast are first touching the apparatus could have ultimate influence on who we see on the competition floor. But as you see here, Cal will follow the traditional Olympic order, and they will flip-flop with Clemson throughout the day.
But what an experience for Amy Smith. She said it is the best experience of her life building this Clemson program. Year 0, she was training those 6 transfers as red shirts. Year 1 was their first year. They went to the NCAA regionals. This is year number 2 for the Tigers.
She is building something big in Clemson and talks about how the university has just rallied behind this program in every sense. And it's not just what's happening in their home arena, it's everything that broadcasts out into the gymnastics world. They want their leotards to start a conversation. They want their choreography to start a conversation. They're trying to establish themselves in every way possible as an undeniable piece of gymnastics history.
They made a statement, 196.325. That was the score in their first ever NCAA meet, a record. And by the way, they had more than 8,000 people at Little John Coliseum for that first meet in every meet last year.
Super exciting, and Coach Smith talked about the energy that crowd creates, and she wants to create the best atmosphere in college gymnastics. I think that's a goal of every head coach. They haven't broken into 196 range so far this season, and we'll get into more of the scoring variation that we've seen throughout the nation so far this year.
Well, for California, it is team number 52. And for co-head coaches, Justin Howell, Liz Crandell Howell, this is the best team that they have had for Justin Howell's 14th year in Berkeley.
And Justin specifically helms this first event that we'll see Cal on. They are constructing year over year over year these 10.0 start values that they can rely on. As we mentioned off the top, they have depth like never before. So they invite the opportunity to give athletes opportunities to become more and more comfortable in competitive settings. We'll actually see that today with sophomore Jaden Silvers getting the 6th slot as planned today.
Maddie Williams, Last time out for the Bears, won the vault at UC Davis, scoring a 9.9. And Justin Howell telling me specifically on the vault, this is the most depth that they have had since he's been at Cal.
And this is exactly what they need from Maddie Williams. What she did last weekend, the 9.9 leadoff for a stuck Yurchenko full. This is what Maddie Williams has been working for her entire career at Cal. She needs to get comfortable minimizing landing deductions on a Yurchenko full. You put these in your lineup for a reason. Here we go. Leadoff sets the tone for the day. Great block. Tiny scoop back on the Yurchenko full. Not as lights out as last week for Williams, but super respectable. I would put that right in the 9.85 range. Very strong start for Cal.
Now, Maddie Williams, 7-time All-American, and it was a historic year last year for the Bears. She scored the third most points ever in the history of NCAA gymnastics in a season.
I mean, I feel like any Cal athlete you look at, it was a record-setting contribution to the year, and that just speaks to the all-around prowess. What the Howells really want to curate and cultivate is a culture of everybody's doing everything unless there's a very compelling reason not to.
And here's the ACC Newcomer of the Year last year, Lily Lippett, on the bars for the Tigers.
Waiting for the green flag here. She has elite gymnastics experience, so we'll see that in the quality of her work. And Coach Smith notes that she's kind of an indispensable team member in the way she sets the table for her teammates.
First high school signing in Clemson history, all ACC last year on the bars.
Starts off the routine, mounting to high bar. Actually comes in a little close. Toan Ray, named after U.S. and Michigan great Elise Ray. The bail overshoot was soft in the elbows, looked a little off kilter, but wow, outstanding display of a handstand there. Full pirouette into the double tuck. Tiny hop forward, short of rotation. The other note I have in that full pirouette that preceded the double tuck is going to be getting right on top of the bar here. You saw her toes came a little bit past that perfect vertical. But set herself up, saw the landing, still tiny bit short of rotation. Now quickly to Kyan Mayhew. This is going to be their first 10-0. Yurchenko 1.5. Talk about minimizing landing deduction from Mayhew. That is exactly the type of second slot vault that the Bears want.
By the way, Maddie Williams, the score just came across 9.825.
All right, so my gauge is 0.025 off. We'll recalibrate and see here, but important to look here. Watch her legs on the table, tiny bit of separation before snapping them together, and I would say a little bit unexpected of a landing, but the thing she did very well is make sure her shoulders were just slightly in front of her hips, so that tiny hop was how she was able to land that one.
Real quick, Mayhew, 9.95, her first ever collegiate routine on the vault. She had a 9.9 on the vault in the NCAA championships. Here's Dakota Berry. She's a California native from Southern California, and she won the bars last week with Clemson at Pitt at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse last weekend.
Yeah, Dakota's trying to establish herself as one of those undeniable bar scores that they can count on. Interestingly, Clemson hasn't notched a 9.9 score on any event so far this season. Lily Lippett comes in at 9.7. I would say even keel there. The deductions were evident. Dakota Berry mounts to the low bar, handstand, toe on, toe off. Maloney, you see the legs come apart, feet flex. Same thing on the Pax Solto transitioning, but maintaining good pressure against the bars. Quality swing with straight arms. Cast straddle handstand up here. Watch for the release point into this double leg. Allowed her to float up, but the landing, we're going to zero in. You want to minimize and optimize. So I'm going to say all those eyes all day long. Right here, as she's setting up, taps through the bottom, really winds up here. We talk about the eyes all right. So here, boom, 1, 2. Optimization is down in that regard. Really want to settle and bend your knees a tiny bit more and really mitigate any additional deduction there.
Mayhew, 9.875. Here's El Cesario, who was just so strong for Cal last year, all the way to the NCAA finals.
Another athlete that Liz Crandall Hall noted coming into her own. Watch the body position off the table. Wow! From Ella Cesario. Justin Howell is hyped up. I talked about the body position, flat hips, getting able to see the landing. We'll take a second look here. Watch the pre-flight legs together, zeros in. Yep, tiny leg separation, then snaps them back together. No doubt on that landing for Cesario, and it is incredible to see year over year the improvement of these Yurchenko fulls. Previously, Williams, even Cesario, had doubts, and we would see that manifest in the landings. But to know that they have the potential, they felt the feeling of sticking that ball cold, amazing.
Ended up giving Barry a 9-7-5. There's Eve Jackson.
We'll take a look at what Eve has here. Crucial, I would say, across every event for Clemson. They want that leadoff to be in the 9-8 range. They really want to start there. So momentum needs to shift. It could start here with Jackson. Straddled Jaeger into the overshoot. Really fluid work, lacking a little bit of dynamics. And you see how she taps over the top. Her feet come apart just a little bit. Really needs to zero in here. Full out, scooch back on the dismount for Jackson. That's their strongest routine so far, though. On the apparatus, off the apparatus, really put a lot of strength and skill on display. Squat on back up to the high bar as we look at this dismount sequence. Quick handstand there. You'll also notice the best handstands we'll see today will be locked out and almost pause on top of the bar. She did a quick one there as she did that tucked full out again. Another one. We're going to see that dismount from other athletes today. The compare and contrast between these athletes is going to be evident. She was loose in the ankles and feet there.
Cesario got a 9-9.
Amazing work for Ella Cesario. This is another 10.0 vault here. It's elite level skills as MJ Frazier, former world team, put on display. It's a Yurchenko double full, and we're back to the ISs already. It was a hop back and a hop into place. So there's going to be landing deductions that are going to bring that score down. I do really appreciate how square she is on the table. Still twists very quickly off the table, but doesn't incur any directional deduction. So I think there's benefit to be seen there, but MJ definitely knows what she needs to improve on week over week.
Score went up for Eve Jackson, Los Angeles native, 9-8. Her uncle, Deshaun Jackson, one of the all-time great athletes in Cal history. Hannah Clark up for the Clemson Tigers.
Crucial for Clemson, that 9-8 range. They've got to start that party up. We'll see if Hannah Clark can keep it going. Mounting to the high bar. First handstand, tiny bit quick blind change. Pike Jaeger, love the flow. This back half of their lineup, they're really starting to swing more freely. Again, that compare and contrast across athletes. Finesses that handstand. I would say the shoulders were a little bit back. Floaty double layout. Zeros in on it. We're going to take another look here because Amy Smith has something to smile about. She took that way up in the air, and the only adjustment, now it's not just about moving your feet on the dismount. We'll take a look in a second, though. Floaty Pike Jaeger, and you saw how fluidly she moved down to the low bar. Kept things moving. Rhythm is also something the judges are taking into consideration when evaluating these routines. Almost hyperextends her arms on that last high bar handstand right here, bends at the waist, digs the feet in. It's still an adjustment because she's having to compensate and maintain her balance there. So there will be a minimal deduction for that.
Hannah Clark, Southern California native, excited to be out here on the West Coast. Maya Lazard on the vault.
Yurchenko 1.5 from Maya. On the tips of her toes on the landing. It's what we've come to expect from Maya Lazard and Yurchenko 1.5. Solid one in the bank. We would always love to see that signature Lausanne stick. Today, not there, but I think following a 9.75 from Frazier before her, gets a solid one in the bank. So it's going to be incurring deduction for the hop. Amazing angle here. A little bit far back on the table. Look at the distance she gets. So the hop and then hangs on, still adjusting there. So The judges are always looking for deductions.
Lausanne had that 10 in the regional final here in Berkeley last year. That was the last time she competed at Haas.
Truly, settling back in 2025, and here she is, the superstar herself, Rebecca Wells. We talked off the top about how much she meant to this program in its first year. This is the only event she's competed on so far this year. Starts with the handstand half pirouette to Kachev, down to the low bar. It's a little bit loose in her body shape on that overshoot, but I would say, again, keeping that trend alive with swinging more freely in the back half of this rotation. And that is something they desperately need. Tight and tidy dismounts from their athletes. No doubt there from Rebecca Wells in the 5th slot. Getting another look here, keeping things moving down through the overshoot. Coach Smith watching on. Into the dismount, watch where she lets go. You can see her body rise up, toes come up. Oh, the knee, foot, and ankle form. So great, exemplary work there from Wells.
First gymnast to ever compete for Clemson. Just such a stalwart, Rebecca Wells. Here's Jaden Silvers, junior from Southern California.
Look at that. 9.825 for Lausanne before her. So they need a big one from Jaden, and this is great pressure. She's worked in and out of this lineup in the past. We'll see what she does today. Bounding step forward for Silvers. Lessons learned here, okay? She definitely had enough power, and now it's about controlling that. The other thing that has to be going on in these Cal athletes' minds is they know they have more Yurchenko 1.5s in the bank. So the pressure is on in these competitive opportunities. You've got to embrace it, take your time, watch right there. Legs are definitely apart, and I would say her knees continue that softness. On the landing, you saw right at that moment of impact, her shoulders way in front of her hips, has to quickly bound forward and get it under control. Not how the Bears wanted to round things out, but it's a reality that they're going to work through.
They gave Wells a 9.85. Here's Quinn Cool, who has really stepped up for Clemson this year.
3-event athlete for Clemson, and Coach Amy Smith said she worked so hard over the summer and through preseason, and she's thrilled she's getting the opportunity to compete across. Everything pretty standard so far for Quinn Cool. When she can put the exclamation point like that double layout on the end of the rotation, I think it actually compensates very well. I think Wells was tighter and more crisp. Cool, like I said, kept everything in line as she needed to on the apparatus. Swings really quickly. Bit of an early release, but snaps her body down. You saw the legs separated throughout the double layout there. We should expect to see that hover right around the 9.8 mark, but look at that. Hannah Clark, 9.875. Great emphasis from the 4th slot there.
This is Maya Wiley's exhibition, by the way. Silver's got a 9.625, so they'll drop that score.
We talked about the Yurchenko 1.5s in the bank. Maya Wiley is one of them. Oh! With a statement in the exhibition slot. The Cal coaches could not speak enough about how important it is to feel like your exhibition slot matters, counts. They want to see how you're embracing that. The Bear head. It hasn't come out many times yet today, but great to see Maya Wiley get an exhibition rep and deliver.
It's early in the year, but Cal, I say it with quotation marks, their worst event, maybe statistically, has been vault. That's still 11th best in the country. It is all around such a solid Cal program.
And you talk about the opportunities to move the lineup around, shift, get people experience. Cal is very aware it is still January and there is time to develop and have opportunities like that.
This is Lauren Rutherford on the exhibition.
Toe off into the Tkachev.
And Cool got a 9.875, by the way.
Toes come apart in the hip cast. Tight over the top through the Giants, winding up here. Double layout dismount, rises up nicely, but you did see her take several movements. It was almost a scoot, a hop, a step. All the above for Rutherford. I would say she should rely on that great technique that allows the double layout to come up. She'll be able to settle into the landing a little bit.
Oh, it is really tight through one rotation. A great performance by Clemson on the bars.
Yeah, I mean, Cal, they're their opportunities for improvement are undeniable. You saw some really high highs and some opportunities for improvement.
Second rotation coming up after this. Slim lead for Cal early on here at Haas.